All right, hello, Algebra 1 friends. All right, we are looking at review number 5. We are reviewing graphing linear functions, all right? So this is the review for your test that's tomorrow, okay? So the first thing we're gonna look at is a little review from unit 4. It asks, what is the domain of the following function and what is the range of the following function? Guys, starting with domain, remember domain is my x's. For domain, I go wall to wall. So I look at my whole function and I'm gonna draw in walls on my function. So I start over at this very most right point over here. And then I would draw in my other wall at my very most left point. Now on this other wall, I notice my line has an arrow. Remember guys, arrows cannot contain walls or floors or ceilings or anything, right? So for my wall over there, I know that I'm just gonna keep going forever and ever and ever. That wall will not contain it. So for my other wall over here, I start at the origin and I count over 1, 2, 3, 4, and I notice that my arrow is going in this negative x direction. So it's telling me that 4 is going to be the smallest that my x value is ever going to be, right? So since I'm going in the negative x direction, means that my x values are getting smaller. And I check out my point, I notice that that is a closed dot. So when writing my domain, all of my x's are going to be less than or equal to 4. Again, less than or equal to, because that is a closed circle over there. All right, so then if I'm talking about range, I'm talking about the y values, right? Range is y, so I go floor to ceiling. All right, so I'm going to draw on my floor at the very bottom, and I'm going to draw on my ceiling at the top. Now, again, we've already discussed that there's an arrow. That arrow is going to break through my ceiling, so I'm just going to keep going up and up and up forever and ever and ever. So I'm going to count down to my floor, starting at 0, 0, -1, -2, -3, -4. And again, I'm going up. -4 is the smallest my y is ever going to be. So since I'm going up, all of my y's are getting bigger. So y is going to be greater than or equal to -4. All right, so now looking at 3 and 4, we're going to find the slope of the line that is going through the given points. Okay, so for number 3, my points are 3, 6, and -1, -4. Guys, this is where I use stat edit. So I look here at my calculator. I press stat, and then I press enter on edit. In L1, I put my x's, so I'm going to put 3, enter, -1, enter. Oh, maybe. Let me try that again, y'all, sorry. 3, enter, and then I need -1. I'm going to use my negative sign down here. -1, enter. Oh my gosh, y'all, this thing is fighting me. Hold on. 3, enter, -1, enter. There we go. And then in L2, I'm going to put 6, enter, and -4, enter. Make sure those match up. I have 3 and 6. I have -1 and -4. Stat, over to calc, down to number 4. Enter, 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 enter. And it's asking for the slope. My slope here is 2.5. Remember, I usually like to write my slope as a fraction. So I'm going to go back to my home screen. I'm going to type in 2.5, and I want math, enter as a fraction. So my answer for my slope is 5/2. All right, let's do the same thing for number 4. I'm going to do stat edit again. Now, guys, remember to clear your list. Go all the way up to L1 to where you're highlighting L1, press clear and enter. Same thing, go all the way up to L2, press clear and enter. All right, in L1, I'm going to put 6, and I'm going to put -1 because those are my x's, right? Then in L2, I'm going to put 2, and I'm going to put 2. Stat, over to calc, down to number 4, enter, 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 enter. And my slope here you see is a big fat 0. All right, so that's for stat edit, right? So that's what I'm going to write right here. Here's what we did is we did stat edit. And your x's go in L1 and your y's go in L2. All right, number 5. Identify the key features and sketch the graph of each equation. All right. So the first thing they want the x-intercept, they want the y-intercept, they want the 0, and they want the slope. Well, here's what I know. I look at my form, and I know that this thing is in my slope-intercept form, right? This is in y equals mx plus b. So I already know my slope because my slope is married to x. So my slope is 5/3, means I'm going up 5, right 3. And I already know my y-intercepts because I know that my b is my y-intercept. Here, I'll write that down for you. M is slope, B is your y-intercept. So for my y-intercept, remember guys, my y-intercept is a point. It's the point 0, 5. So guys, I already have a point and I already have my slope. So I can go ahead and graph this thing. So I'm going to go ahead and put a point at 0, 5. So I start at the origin, go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's my y-intercept. And guys, now I'm just going to use my slope to graph everything else. So using my slope, I'm going to go up 5, right 3 every time. Up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right 1, 2, 3. Now I can't go any more in that direction. So I'm going to start back at my y-intercept and I'm now going to go down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, left 3. And I'm going to keep doing that process down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, left 3, down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, left 3. And then go ahead and draw in your line through those points. All right, and so there's my line. Now let's answer our last question. What is my x-intercept? That's where I cross my x-axis. Remembering, left and right is my x, up and down is my y. So looking at my x-intercept, I count over -1, -2, -3. So my x-intercept is the point -3, 0. And I know that the 0 is just the x value of my x-intercept. So my 0 is -3. All right, number 6, the exact same thing. I'm still in y equals mx plus b form. So I'm in good shape because I know my slope is going to be right there next to the x. So that would be -3 over 4. So guys, since it's negative now I'm going to be going down 3, right 4 each time. And I know that my b is my y-intercept, which is -3, right? It's negative now. So my y-intercept is at the point 0, -3. So again, let's go ahead and put that on our graph. Go down now since it's negative, down -1, -2, -3. All right, and now let's use our slope to plot everything else. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, right 4. Down 3, right 4. All right, let's start back at that y-intercept and now let's go up 3, left 4. 4, up 3, left 4. All right, and then drawing your line through those points, kind of try to draw a straight line. All right, and now let's find our x-intercept. X is side to side, y is up and down. I count over 1, 2, 3, -4, right? So my x-intercept is at the point -4, 0, which means that my 0 is just -4. Number 7, exact same thing, right? My slope is going to be 1/3. So I'm going to be going up 1, right 3 every time. And my y-intercept now is still 0, -3. So I go down -1, -2, -3. And I'm going to use my slope. I'm going to go up 1, right 3, up 1, right 3, up 1, right 3. And then now let's go down 1, left 3, down 1, left 3, down 1, left 3. And then drawing your line through your points. I'm going to try to make it straighter than Miss Warren's. Oh, let me try that again. That was not a good line, y'all. Oh, that's a little better. All right. So for my x-intercept, remember x is side to side, y is up and down. So I count over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So my x-intercept is at the point 9, 0. And so that means that my 0 is just the number 9. All right, for number 8, this time my slope is -2. Remember guys, -2 is the same thing as -2 over 1. So I'm going down 2, right 1 each time. And my y-intercept is +2. So that's going to be at the point 0, +2. So I go up 1, 2, and I go down 2, right 1, down 2, right 1, down 2, right 1. Each time. Go back up to your y-intercept and go up to left 1 just a couple of times. And then drawing your line, that's good enough. Okay, I'm so bad at drawing straight lines. All right, so there's my line. All right, I look at my side to side, that's my X, up and down is Y. For my X-intercept, it's really easy, it's right at that point 1, 0, which means that my 0 is 1. All right, number 9 is a little different. Now for number 9, they give me a point and they give me my slope. So all I have to do is I'm going to use my point and I'm going to use my slope, and I'm going to use all of this to graph my function. It is not that tricky. All right, so I'm going to start by plotting the point that they give me. The point that they give me is -2, 8. Remember, guys, with points, it's written in X, Y form. So for my X goes side to side, Y goes up and down. For X, I start by going in the -2, right? -1, -2. Then Y is +8. So I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that is my point, -2, 8. All right. Do we all agree? Stare at that. Make sure I'm right. Now, remember, M, guys, M is my slope. But I know it's weird, but M is slope. So my slope is -4. I'm going to go ahead and write that down. So that means I go down 4, right 1 each time. So starting at my point, I'm going to go down 4, right 1, down 4, right 1, 4, right 1. All right, and that's pretty much about as all I can do. So now I'm going to draw in my line, and I am good to go. Now, notice what I have here, okay? I have here, they're asking me for my X and Y intercept, okay? Notice on my X, I don't really cross anywhere. On my Y, I don't really cross anywhere, but I always cross in the middle, right? Remember, the middle is what I call my origin. So in this case, my X-intercept is at 0, 0, and my Y-intercept is also at 0, 0. Because again, I don't go up any on my Y, I don't go left or right any on my X. So again, my 0 in this case would also just be 0. So if I want my equation, now look, they said I want my equation in point slope form. Point slope form. Guys, let's do a recap. That's Y minus Y1 equals M times X minus X1. That's also going to be on that reference sheet that we give you tomorrow for your test. But that is our point slope form, because X1, Y1 is a point that they give you, and M is your slope, right? So this is your point and M is your slope. All right, and guess what? They give us a point, they give us a slope, so we can write this thing. So I'm going to do Y minus Y1. So in this case, -2 is going to be X1 and 8 is going to be Y1. So I'm going to write Y minus 8 equals M is my slope, -4 times X minus X1. In this case, it would be minus -2. And guys, remember, if I have minus and negative, that's just the same thing as a big old plus sign. So that is my equation right there. Y minus 8 equals -4 times X plus 2. Very good. Same thing for number 10. They give me a point, they give me my slope. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to write down that my slope is 3. And I'm going to plot my point. My point is 2, 6. X is side to side, Y is up and down. So I go over 1, 2, and up 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's my point. Now, since my slope is 3, it means I'm going to go up 3, right 1 every single time. So I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, right 1. Now, I can't really go in that direction anymore. So I'm going to start back at my point 2, 6. And I'm going to go down 3, left 1, down 3, left 1, down 3, left 1, down 3, left 1, same thing right here, right? So then I draw in my line again. It's kind of a steep line. That's my equation. So guys, same thing here, right? I'm also going through the origin in this case, right? I know that that's weird, but that's what's happening. Then I still go through 0, 0. So my X-intercept is still at 0, 0. My Y-intercept is still at 0, 0, which means that my 0 is still 0. And again, guys, writing this thing in point slope form, I'm going to write it out for you again. Y minus Y1 equals M times X minus X1. Okay, in this case, 2, 6 is my X1, Y1, and M is 3. They already tell me that. So guys, just plugging in 2 and plugging in 6, this is what I get. Y minus Y1 is 6, so Y minus 6 equals M, my slope, which is 3, times x minus 2. And there's my equation. All right, so now they give us the graph and we are just going to identify everything. All right, so let's start with our x-intercept. X-intercept is where I cross the x-axis. I think we can all agree. So I'm going to look here. It looks a little off to me. It looks like it's not exactly crossing at right there at a whole number. So I'm going to count over because this is my x. X is side to side. Y is up and down. So I count over 1, 2, 3. It looks at about 3.2-ish. So that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say 3.20 is my x-intercept, right? Do we agree? It's kind of a little bit off. Okay. So guys, since I know my x-intercept, it means I also know my 0. So in this case, my 0 is just that x value, 3.2. All right. So then for my y-intercept, I go up here. I count up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Guys, again, this one also kind of looks like it's kind of not exactly right there. It looks a little bit more in the middle to me. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to say about 5.5 for this one. So for y-intercept, remember guys, for y, I always have a 0 in the x spot, and then I'm going to put 5.5. All right. So now guys, for stuff like this, you have got to find 2 points where that is for sure crossing through this graph just to make sure that you get the slope right, okay? So for this one, I'm gonna kind of clear off my graph a little bit. All right, so I'm gonna identify 2 points that look like they are definitely on my line. So I see this one right here. This one looks like it's definitely on my line. And I see this one right here. It looks like it's definitely on my line. Now, to find slope, remember, we read left to right, and my slope is rise over run. So here going from left to right, I'm actually going to be going down first, right? So I go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I went down 5, and I'm going to go right 1, 2, 3. So since I'm going down, that means it's going to be negative. I went down 5, right 3. So that's going to be -5 over 3. So for my equation, remember I write my equation in y equals mx plus b. And I know that m is my slope and b is my y-intercept. So to write this one, it's going to be y equals -5 over 3x plus 5.5. Kind of a wacky equation, but that's what we get. All right, look at number 12. We're going to do the exact same thing. Now this graph looks a little nicer because it looks like I'm actually crossing on some whole numbers. So for my x-intercept, where I cross the x-axis, side to side is x, up and down is y. So I go over 1, 2. So on my x-axis, it looks like I am crossing at the point 2, 0. Since I already know my x-intercept, it means I also already know my 0. It's just that x value of 2. All right, let's go ahead and do the y. I count down -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. So my y-intercept is 0, -6. All right, to find my slope, I've got to do my rise over run. And this one's nice because I already have my 2 points. So I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I went up 6 and I go right 1, 2. So guys, again, remembering slope is rise over run. What I have now is I went up 6 and right 2. So y'all, in my calculator, I'm going to do 6 divided by 2. You could also do alpha y equals, hold on, let me clear that, sorry. Alpha y equals enter 6 over 2. Let me not do that, 6 over 2. And that gives me 3. So simplifying, I get a slope of 3. Okay. So for my equation, again, in y equals mx plus b form, m being slope, b being my y-intercept, I'm going to write this as y equals 3x minus 6 as my equation. All right, number 13 and 14 are a little different because this is given to me in what form? Say it out loud. You should have said standard form. Remember, my standard form is ax plus by equals C, right? So my X's and Y's together and they equal some number. Remember, in order to do this, we started by finding our X and our Y intercept, and then we just graphed it like that and we made our life a whole lot easier, right? So to find my X intercept, what I do is I totally get rid of Y and I just say 4X equals 20. And then I just divide both sides by 4, right? To get that X by itself. So 20 divided by 4 should get you 5. Very good. So I got X equals 5. That is my X intercept. I got the point 5, 0, which means I already have my 0. My 0 is 5, right? So on my X and my Y coordinate right here, I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A point right there at 5, 0. All right. For my Y intercept, I'm going to do the exact same thing, except now for Y, I totally want to get rid of my X. So for my Y intercept, I'm going to do 5Y equals 20. Now I divide both sides by 5. And if you do 20 divided by 5, you should get 4. So Y equals 4. So for my Y intercept, I have 0, 4. So I'm going to go up on my Y's, go up 1, 2, 3, 4. And there is my line right there. Okay, so I'm going to draw in my line through those points. Try your best, make it as straight as possible. All right, and now let's find my slope. Let's do my rise over my run. Do we agree that slope is rise over run? Guys, I read it from left to right. So in this case, I have to go down 1, 2, 3, 4. And I go right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So since I go down 4, right 5, that means that I have my slope of -4 over 5. So for my equation in Y equals mx plus b form, where m is my slope and b is my Y intercept, I'm going to write my equation. Y equals -4 over 5x plus 4. Do we see how I got there? Make sure you see that. Good. All right, same thing for number 14. All right, X intercept, again, I'm going to get rid of my Y. So I'm going to say 6x equals 18. To get that X by itself, I have to divide both sides by 6. 18 divided by 6 should get you 3. So X equals 3. So my X intercept is at the point 3, 0, which means that my 0 is just the number 3. So on my axis, I'm going to go on my X and go over 1, 2, 3. All right, so now for Y, I just want to get I'm just talking about the Y, so I cross out the X. Now, guys, notice I have a minus sign in front of my Y, right? So I'm going to write -3y equals 18. You've got to make sure you pay attention to the signs that are in front of your variables. So in this case, to get Y by itself, I have to divide both sides by -3. So 18 divided by -3 gets me -6. So now my Y intercept is at the point 0, -6. So I go down, count down, 2, 3, 4, 5, -6 is down, right? And now I draw in my line through those 2 points. So to find my slope, again, rise over run, reading from left to right, I'm going to count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and over 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I went up 6, right 3. Now again, guys, in your calculator, I have 6 over 3. So do 6 divided by 3, and that should give you a slope of +2. So writing my equation in Y equals mx plus b form, I'm going to get Y equals 2x minus 6. All right, this is going to be the end of the first half of the video. So play the next video to get the last half of the review.